At a lively party, a group of teenagers are having the time of their lives drinking, playing a card game, and trash-talking other teenagers. One of the girls shares how she can eat whatever she wants and never gain weight because she stays at a caloric deficit. She shows another girl the app she uses to achieve this wonderful feat. She tells her the name of the app, but the other girl comes across a different app with a similar name and asks for confirmation. She tells her that is not the app, but they are intrigued, so they read the description. Girl in yellow comes up with a new game saying they all have to download the app, and whoever the app says is going to die first would have to finish all the drinks on the table. They all agree in unison, apart from the girl in a checkered top. She finds the app creepy and wants no part of it. But unfortunate for her, she has a weak spine and allows herself to be peer pressured into downloading and participating in the game. Girl in yellow, whose idea all of this was, has 63 years. But Courtney, the girl who was pressured, is told she has only 3 hours to live. They all make fun of her and call her boyfriend over to inform him his girl is going to die soon. Since she lost the game, it's bottoms up for her, but she is saved by Evan, who drinks it all. The party ends, and it's time to head home. Evan is clearly drunk, but still tries to drive Courtney home. She suggests that they walk to her house instead, but he tells her to loosen up and stop worrying about the stupid app. He is not going to kill her because he drives way better when he's drunk. Because Evan is taking all of this as a joke, she gets mad and decides to walk home by herself. He drives alongside her, trying to convince her to get inside the car, but this time, she shows a strong spine saying she is walking, which gets Evan angry, and he speeds off, leaving his girlfriend to walk home in the dark all by herself. As soon as he is out of sight, she gets a notification from the app telling her, user agreement has been broken. She checks the app, which tells her she only has 7 minutes until she dances with death. She puts the phone away and resumes her two-step. Unbeknown to her, a mysterious figure is right behind her. She feels the presence of someone following her, so she checks and sees the figure right on her tail. She hastens her walk, but so does he. Before she gathers the sense to run, the man enters his car and drives off. This eases her tension, but she is still paranoid as she mistakes a pile of garbage for a figure. Right then, the app goes off, reminding Courtney of her appointment with death in just 1 minute. She rushes to the front of her door, fumbling the keys and struggling to open. Finally, she is in and slams the door shut behind her, preventing any bad energy from following her. Now that she is home safely, Courtney powers off her phone to stop the app from sending notifications. She enters the bathroom to sip on some H2O, but hears a jingle sound behind the shower curtains. She pulls it back only to see a blank wall, so she gets back to drinking the water in front of the mirror. But she hears that same jingle sound and sees that the curtains has been closed. At this point, I would run out screaming, but I guess she sees life differently. Courtney approaches the curtain again, but before she opens it, the app goes off, and she is lifted into the ceiling and killed by some unseen entity, and then dropped on the bath. Elsewhere in the same moment, her boyfriend, who was drink driving, suffers a car crash into a tree. We see that a huge branch has impaled the passenger seat where Courtney would have been sitting. Looks like no matter what she did, she would have ended up dead. We cut to Quinn Harris, a nurse who is currently on meal runs tending to the patients at the hospital. In one of the rooms, her boss, Dr. Sullivan, assures the patient she is one of their best interns and then gives her a wink. Quinn goes to check on one more patient. However, she finds his bed empty and his meal untouched from the previous round. She goes looking for him in the restricted area where he hides looking out of the window. Turns out this is Evan from the car crash. He is a patient at the hospital waiting for surgery as a result of injuries suffered from the crash. His operation is in a couple of hours, and he expresses his nervousness about it to Quinn. She tells him he will be fine, but he shows her the real reason he is nervous. He tells her he downloaded an app that says he has just 19 hours to live, so he is afraid, because the same thing happened to his girlfriend, who is now dead. Quinn tells him it is only a stupid app, and her death is most likely a coincidence, so he should not be afraid. The two of them leave the quarantine space, and Quinn is greeted with a surprise gathering from her colleagues for passing her nursing exam. During the mini party, whilst indulging in cake, they talk about the countdown app, and 2 of her colleagues download it. 2 minutes later, a man barges in holding an unconscious woman calling out for help. The team counteract her overdose with an injection which revives her. When going home after work, Quinn downloads the app after yielding to curiosity. She doesn't read the terms and conditions and accepts willy-nilly, putting her government name. She is absolutely bamboozled when the app tells her she has only 2 days to live. The vampire comes in and congratulates her once more before exiting. From work, she goes to her family home to look for something. Here we learn that her mother passed away some time back, and her father invites her to come lay some flowers on Saturday with her sister. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Evan has just 3 minutes to live. Coincidentally, that is the time his surgery is supposed to be. He decides to ditch the surgery. He, however, gets a notification telling him he has broken the user agreement and is chased to the stairwell by a figure. Evan is confronted with the ghost of Courtney before being killed right on time. The next day, Quinn goes through Evan's phone after learning of his demise However, she is unable to unlock it, so she uses his corpse to gain access. She is frightened after she learns that his timer has run out. Now she believes she might actually die in 2 days. In her state of dismay, she calls and cancels the Saturday plans with her father and sister. The app is quick to tell her she has violated the user agreement. Shortly afterwards, Dr. Sullivan tries to make a move to engage in overtime, but Quinn isn't into it. He tries to force himself onto her, but she overpowers him. Quinn tries to report the incident to her supervisor, but he prevents her from doing so. During the night, Quinn does some research on the app and finds that similar deaths have occurred involving other app users, but the general public considers it all to be fake. Quinn starts to hear and see things, so she decides to break her phone and sleep in her car for the night. Her sister comes over and tries to download the app, but Quinn tells her not to without giving a reason, so Jordan storms out. Meanwhile, Quinn tries to buy a new phone, but she finds Countdown has downloaded itself onto the new phone. She takes it back for the app to be removed, but the man tells her it would not allow him to delete it. In her car, she is attacked by a demonic figure and soon meets a young man named Matt, who has 18 hours according to the app. They go to a bar to talk and come to the realization that the user agreement is broken if one tries to change their fate. At work, she is called into a meeting and learns that Sullivan has lied and tricked the other staff into believing that she had made advances onto him without his permission, which gets her suspended. In the meantime, Quinn and Matt talk to Father John after being told about him by a priest. The father informs them the app is connected to a demon named Ozin, whose origin dates back to the Roman time, after a prince tried to change the fate of his demise. The demon only torments those who try to change their fate after knowing their time of death. Father John tells them he would be able to help them if they can hack into the app. So the duo enlists the help of the phone salesman, who manages to hack into the code, adding a few decades to his life, as well as Quinn's, Matt's, and Jordan's life, after the code revealed that she too had downloaded it. They pay him in credit cards, and then set off home together, believing they have resolved everything. However, during their night stay, Quinn is attacked by the entity before they get a notification resetting their countdown to their original lifespan. Elsewhere, Jordan is notified of this too, and is attacked by the demon in the form of her deceased mother, before being saved by Quinn and Matt. The trio head to Father John's place, but they catch him slacking. They show him a picture of the code, which is in Greek. After reading it, he theorizes that the curse can be broken if a user dies before the countdown ends, or a user outlives the countdown even for 1 second. They devise a plan and create a guarding circle with salt in an attempt to delay Ozin, which seems to be working as it cannot enter. But it manages to lure Matt out with trickery, using his deceased brother. Quinn and her sister decide to break out of their only safe zone to follow Matt. He is unfortunately run over and killed, whilst Jordan is wounded. Jordan is rushed to the hospital, where another nurse informs Quinn that Dr. Sullivan also tried to harass her. Quinn remembers that he had also downloaded the app, so she comes up with a plan to break the curse by killing him before his actual time of death. She teases him and tells Sullivan to meet her in the quarantine place so they can carry on from where they left off. This fool with no sense of danger goes there to meet her to get some pull to the knee, that is. She goes to kill him, but Sullivan is saved by the demon. Ozin attacks Jordan in preparation for her appropriate death. Quinn, however, injects herself with some medicine and overdoses as a result. Because she sacrificed herself and perished before her time, the curse is broken, and Ozin crumbles into dust. Jordan rushes over to her sister and is surprised to see her sister has left instructions for her to be revived with a counter-drug. She does exactly as instructed and brings her sister back to life. Sometime later, whilst visiting their mother's grave, Quinn catches wind of Sullivan's arrest after other nurses came forward to accuse him. She gets a notification on a phone with an update of the Countdown app installed on her phone.